Hello, everyone, and my name is Eleanor Collins. When I was preparing my toolbox and I was preparing my lesson, I decided that I wanted to use communication can be viewed as an illusion. And I had to really think about why I felt that way about communicating can be viewed as an illusion. So, what made me think about that is that the way that we communicate and the way that we don't communicate can cause people to second guess what we truly are saying. And in their mind, they're trying to figure out what we said, and that is in a form of an illusion. So when someone communicates and they're not communicating clearly, and you have to sit there and feel like you have to scratch your head to say, what in the world were they really saying? Or what did they really, really mean? Um, it causes that illusion, or it causes that person to say, I'm not 100% sure that I heard what I heard correctly. So, in doing that, and I chose communication as being an illusion, I also said, where is the best place for a person to utilize their toolbox skills when it comes to communicating? Is it in the workplace? Is it in your home? Is it when you're in the grocery store? Is it when you're just out speaking to someone in general? How can I better use my communication skills when I am speaking with someone? And it led me to say, okay, if I need to better use my communication skills, what can I focus on to better my skills? So, my first thing that I decided to focus on listening. Because to be an effective communicator, you have to be a truly good listener. Communication and listening does go hand in hand. So, when I decided, let me focus my listening skills and let me start listening and hearing and not making assumptions, then when the communication is going on, it will give me truly insight to what the person is saying. It will also help me to understand why they said what they said. And then it will also help me to be able to ask the appropriate questions if I do need clarity on anything. So that is why I chose listening, so that I could become a better communicator as well as a better listener. I also had to deal with management because I noticed that sometimes as a manager at my job, um, with my supervisor, with my management team, and my higher ups, they are truly, truly busy. And I do understand that. And sometimes I can say, can I ask you a quick question? Or do you have a minute, real quick? I need to ask you something. And then that person will say, sure. But then when you ask the question, that person has 10 other things on their mind and they're not really hearing you, but they're trying to answer you kind of quickly in a hurry so they can put out the next fire. So now, what I've decided to do when it comes to management or my supervisors or my managers, when it comes to communication, I'll just ask them, when you get a minute, when you get a little break, when you get some time, it's something I need to discuss with you. So, can we discuss this when it's convenient for you? And then that way you have each other's full attention. The communication is a lot better, and the answers will be what is needed to help. I also chose people skills because sometimes I do not have people skills, and sometimes I have to remember that everyone hears, everyone interprets, and everyone views things so, so very differently. And when you're speaking to people in general, whether it's in public, whether it's in a setting of the office, or if it's in the store or whatever, everybody interprets how you speak to them so, so differently. And people skills are very, very needed and are very, very important during this day and during this time and during our communications. So I chose those for me as a guideline to help me better myself in everyday living and in everyday life when it comes to communication. And I'm glad that I chose those because it made me look at myself, evaluate myself, and find out what was the best way for me to become a better communicator, and what is the best way that when I go out to speak to anyone, whether it's public speaking, speaking to someone in my house, speaking to my neighbor, speaking to a coworker, that I am truly communicating to that person, and that person not only hears me, but that person understands me. And if there is any misleading questions, that person can stop me and say, wait a minute, I don't think I understood you. Let's get clarity. That way, we can do better going forward. Thank you for allowing me to show this video and share this video with you. And I do hope that it does help someone else as much as it helped me.